Welcome back, baseball fans. This episode is eliminating the Montreal Expos relocated team. Originally, I called them the Green Coats for the Green Mountain state of Vermont as they moved across the border 2 hours south to Burlington. They're called the Burlington Expos. I was having some fun with the league, coming up with fictional names and so forth. And I chose, some cities that I traveled to. And I remember a nice trip to Burlington, so I thought I'd give them a fictional baseball team. That's the story behind that. But yeah, this is the Montreal Expo team, 1969. And of course, it's 69, 70, 71, and 72. So there's some other parts involved. They've only improved, well, basically, the record's about the same from a year ago. Getting bounced in the first round of the tournament last year. This year getting bounced in the second round, still with a losing record. Their hitting got worse, the pitching got better. We like Bill Stoneman. I know he's 6-6 with a 4.44 ERA. Most of the damage happened in the last two starts against the Mariners. Baylor Moore had a troubling year at 1-7, though his card's outstanding as far as strikeouts go, but it wasn't really good. Steve Ranko did a decent job. Mike Marshall as a closer is pretty good, so that's the pitching improvement. As far as hitting, Rusty Staub had a nice year. It wasn't a great year. It was a Rusty Staub kind of year, really. 295. I thought he was going to draw more walks than that. He didn't. Mac Jones, we thought he'd hit more home runs. He didn't. Adolfo Phillips drew 28 walks in a year, which led the team with a 340 on base, but he also hit 185. Ron Fairley, he hit 2 home runs in the final game of the year, and that's all the home runs he hit for the season, too. So, very disappointing year, and now we have to figure out what the Expos are going to do moving forward. Let's take a look at their stack here for the Expos. We're going to pull out the 69 players. I'm going to do that by looking at the other opposite sides of the cards to make it easier. We're going to pull out the 69 players. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, we got pulled out the 8 already. There they are, the 8 cards. These 8 cards are going away, and we have to look at their futures. But before we do that, let's see who's coming back. We prefer 7 hitters and 5 pitchers for balance, so that they aren't looking heavily in one area more than the other. And they get a they get a 6-6 split. So they brought back a lot of pitching, not as much hitting. So let's look at the hitting then. And we have a catcher. We have Bob Bailey, who could play a bunch of positions, though none particularly well. But for now, he can be the third baseman. Bobby Wine defensively at short, Boots Day in the outfield with Adolfo Phillips, Gary Sullivan at second base. Well, there's plenty of holes in this offense with just 6 hitters. And I also noticed only 1 left-handed batter. Something with the Expos during this era is that they prefer the right-handed to everything. Not many left-handed hitters on the team. And matter of fact, one season, I believe it's 1973, if you want to check this out on Baseball Reference, they did not have any left-handed pitchers on their team. I think it was 1973, which is weird. So those guys are coming back. The pitching should be better, though. So, Stoneman's coming back. Nice card. The last 2 starts are very uncharacteristically, he got blown up. Ranko had a nice year. That's a nice 1-2 punch right there. And that was in 1971. So we're talking about 32 wins and almost 300 innings apiece. So it's good to have a couple horses at the top of your rotation for an expansion team. And again, that's the Baylor Moore card I was saying was pretty cool in 72. A lot of strikeouts all over the place here. John Morris and Sherman, and you have John Morris, you have this flexibility here to stick him in your rotation or leave him in the bullpen, and you already have 3 left-handers. So this is an easy team to fix the pitching staff. You just need 2 right-handed pitchers. That's one of the easiest things to find. Matter of fact, I might suggest that this team, in the first 6 rounds of the draft, takes 6 hitters, and then takes the 2 pitchers at the end of the draft so they can get a really nice offense going. In this division, which as you have been watching, the American League North is ripe for the taking, as all 4 teams have losing records. So let's take a look at those other 8 players and see what the Expos are going to do with them. All right, folks, let's check out what the Expos are going to do with those 8 players that from 1969 have to remove their cards. Ron Brand is a first guy. He's the catcher, played through it to 71. Here he is with a Houston Astro hat on. And Ron, he has a couple more years left. Comes back in 70. His average dips a little bit. You know, frankly, let's see if he qualifies for waivers. You have to play in the following year to qualify for waivers if you're not being kept versus retiring. So I don't necessarily need to retire this guy. So I'm going to go check out the roster sheet. And to do that, I go to this website, Gary's Strat-O-Matic resource. Excellent resource. You should check it out. superds.tripod.com/somrosters.html. So I'll go down. I'll go 1970 reprint. And you'll notice that the reprint, it actually has the correct year at the top because it wasn't, of course, printed in 1971. It was printed in the 1980s when they did the reprint. And I want to look and see if the Expos have Ron Brand on their team. And they do. I know the font is very small, but I can read it back to you. And Ron Brand can catch for the Expos in 70. So I'm going to waive him, which is no big deal because we could always bring him back off of waivers if we want to, but he can find a job elsewhere, is what we're letting him do. All right, next guy, Ron Fairley. Now he should be a keeper. Yeah, he plays 20-year career starting in 58. Outstanding career. You know what's really odd is that he only had 2 All-Star appearances. One in 77 as the lone member of the Toronto Blue Jays. That's a trivia question, folks. I've given you a couple trivia questions you can use at the bar. Who were the first Toronto Blue Jay and San Diego Padre All-Stars? Well, the answer for Toronto, it was Ron Fairley in 1977. And the bonus one, in 1969 for the Padres, it was Chris Cannizzaro. So there you go. Those are your 2 trivia questions you can use and make a lot of money off of. Don't say, you know, I don't need any reimbursement, that's fine. Okay, back to this. So, what I immediately noticed in scrolling at Ron Fairley is that one of those All-Star appearances is in 1973, and this year is available to the Montreal Expos with an 880 OPS. Sure, most likely, Ron Fairley is coming back to this team with his All-Star year. And that is a fantastic start for the Expos. I might want to mention, I believe this is the year that Steve Rogers, let's go check this out. Steve Rogers becomes available. He's very young, but eventually he starts his Expo career. I want to say it's 73. Let's see if I'm correct there, or if it's 74. There he is. There he is. 17 starts. They made his card. .54 ERA. Yes, sir, Bob. So, at this point, I'm guessing Steve Rogers and Ron Fairley will be the 2 players from the 73 deck. And that would be great for the Expos. All right, moving on. We have Mac Jones. Mac had a big year in 69 for them. Came from the Braves in the expansion, Milwaukee Braves. He plays in 70 and 71. In 70, his better year, he's got an 856 OPS, so there's no reason to get rid of him. So let's bring back Mac Jones. That's 2 left-handed sticks, by the way. Something the Expos needed. Next up, Coco LeBoy, and I think Coco, how many Cocos are there? Coco Crisp, Coco LeBoy, Coco Ferrar. There you go. Coco LeBoy. I think 69 was his best year here, and then it gets kind of unfortunate. Yes, it does. He qualifies for waivers, so as a courtesy, we'll put him on waivers, though he will probably fall into retirement if he goes unclaimed. But for now, it's good. It's flexibility. It's easy to move a keeper or a waiver into the retirement box. A lot of times you can't move retired players into the other boxes. So Coco LeBoy will be on waivers. All right, next up, Rusty Staub. Another no-brainer. We're bringing Rusty back, of course. He'll be playing for the Expos for quite some time. Here he is with his Mets hat on. He's going to have to wait to go to the Mets for that 73 All-Star, 73 World Series, you see, 72-73. Now, we mentioned that the Expos are probably going to go Steve Rogers and Ron Fairley in 73, so I would say one of these two All-Star years will be the next selections for the Montreal Expos. And I'm guessing 71 as he hits 311. He's an All-Star and 19th in MVP votes. So we think it's going to be the 71 Rusty Staub card. Folks, if you're getting excited about the Expos, you should be. This is fun. This is good to see. As this division has been up for grabs, I've mentioned before that it's catered to the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Indians because they've been pulled out of the American League East, separated from the Yankees, Red Sox, and Orioles, and pretty much given their own division to win. And we tossed the Expos in here and the Ohio Players Super Expansion team. Well, the Expos aren't going to take any guff if they get Fairley, Jones, Staub, a nice Steve Rogers card. They're going to be a tough force next year. And they could really make things rough for the Indians and Tigers. All right, the last hitter will be Woody Woodward. How many Woodies are there? Oh, look. Well, there he is. There's Woody. Woody Woodward there. Did he play on the 70 Reds team that went to the World Series? He would have, yeah. Yes, he would have. So he also qualifies for waivers for that 70 World Series Reds team. And they probably made a 71 card as well. So as a courtesy, again, they're not particularly good years, but he's a versatile middle infielder. No reason to retire the guy if he's got some life left in him. I'm very hesitant to retire guys if they played. I'm only retiring guys if we know the career is over at this point, or they're hitting below the Mendoza line. All right, next we go to the pitchers. We have Gary Wasselski. How many Wasselskis are there? Just one. 67-72, he was a Yankee. Bounced around Boston, St. Louis, Montreal in 69 with a 3.29 ERA. Then he went to the Yankees in 70. He's got a card in 70, we believe, in 79 innings. 71 and 72, I don't expect to have a card. But we got to verify if they made his 70 cards. So we have three things to look at. Find him on the Expos or the Yankees or in the extra player list at the bottom of the roster sheet. So let's start with the Yankees. New York Yankees looking for a Gary Wasselski as a pitcher. He's not there. Look at their extra players for the New York Yankees. There he is. So they printed his Yankee card. So with the Yankees, 3.11 ERA in 55 innings. That's great. Wow, I'm going to put it at keeper for now because they need a fourth keeper. That's fantastic. I didn't expect them to have this many talented guys. And last and not least, ball 4, it's Jim Bowden. We know he would come back really late in his career in 1978 for a cup of coffee, but he was had been out of the league for quite some time then. Yeah. So, and that 78 card, I'm not sure, I don't think that was printed by Strat. And of course the 70 card, isn't particularly very good with a .59 whip, 5.40 ERA. If he was left-handed, I might consider it. As a right-hander, he's not going to get in the league. We have better pitchers than that. So I'm going to retire Jim Bowden. By retiring him, that means he could come out of retirement for any team if we need a pitcher. So what that looks like for the Expos is 4 keepers, 3 waivers, and a retiree. And all they have to do is move a waiver guy and acquire a retired guy. And that happens in the trade carousel after the season's over, before the draft. I hope you're enjoying these elimination videos. Thanks for checking it all out. We'll see you next time.